You're listening to Fuzzled, the podcast for highly attuned entrepreneurs who want more calm, more clarity, and a business that finally feels good to run. Let's take a breath and dive in. Hi, and welcome back to Fuzzled, transforming confusion into clarity, one topic at a time. If you're the sort of entrepreneur who has big ideas, big intentions, but struggles to be consistently visible online because your focus comes and goes, this episode is for you, my friend, because today's episode, which you might have noticed, is called the Anchor Task, how to create consistency when you can't focus. So I'm going to be talking about how to create consistency in a way that works with your brain and your internal wiring and not against it. Because here's the truth, you don't need a morning routine for every hour of the day. You don't need to be on every single social media platform every day. You just need one thing, one anchor task, one habit that gently keeps your business moving even when your focus is all over the place. So in this episode, we're going to break down what an anchor task actually is, why it works so well for ADHD and highly attuned entrepreneurs, and how one small habit can quietly compound your visibility over time. And then later on in the show, in Buzzword Bingo, we'll talk about repurposing and why it's basically Russian dolls for your content. Let's get into it. So on the topic of anchor tasks, I've prepared quite a lot to go through. So what I've done here in this big breakdown is to break it down into 5 more easily consumable sections for you. So let's start with the question so many fuzzlers quietly hold. How do I stay consistent in my business when I can't focus every day? The honest answer is you stay consistent by lowering the bar on what consistent means to you. And that's because most entrepreneurs are told that consistency looks like posting every day, being available everywhere, never dropping the ball, spinning 50 million plates. If you're highly attuned, ADHD, or just running a lot of life alongside your business, that is a fast track to burnout. In Fuzzled, I talk about your energy ceiling. That's the point where your nervous system simply says, enough is enough. Not because you're not ambitious, but because your brain has limits on how much stimulation and decision making it can actually handle. When you ignore that and push through with hustle, you drift into what I call the chaos cloud. Everything feels urgent, nothing feels clear. You finish the week exhausted, but with that nagging sense of, I still haven't done enough. So instead of asking, how can I be consistent every day? The better question is, what is one small, repeatable action I can anchor my week around? That's where the anchor task comes in, because consistency for highly attuned entrepreneurs is not doing everything every day. It's repeating one core action often enough that your business keeps moving, even when your focus doesn't. So on to part 2 of the big breakdown, where we are asking, so what actually is an anchor task? Well, an anchor task is a single high leverage activity you commit to doing on a regular schedule. It might be daily or it might be weekly, but that anchor task moves your business forward even when everything else feels wobbly. It's the spine of your business week. If everything else falls away, this still happens. And examples of anchor tasks are publishing one long-form piece of content each week. Could be a blog post, sending one nurturing email to your list every Friday, recording one podcast episode or one video, hosting one live session or sales call block each week. The magic is in the simplicity and the frequency, not in how impressive it looks on paper. So why does this work so well for ADHD and highly attuned entrepreneurs? Well, because it does 3 important things. First, it respects your energy ceiling. You choose something you can really sustain, not the fantasy version of you who has 12 hours of focus a day. Secondly, it reduces decision load. You're not waking up every morning wondering, what should I do to grow my business today? You already know the one thing that must happen. And thirdly, it creates a familiar rhythm. Your brain starts to recognize the pattern. It's Wednesday. That's my podcast day. Over time, the resistance is lower because it's not a brand new decision every time. You can even phrase it as a simple commitment and write this down. No matter what kind of week I'm having, I will always do, and then insert what you're going to do as your anchor task, on, and then put the day and the time. It's a structural focus strategy for non-linear brains, especially if you're someone who often feels you're starting from scratch every Monday. So our next question is, can one small habit really make a difference to visibility? The short answer is yes, my friend, but not because of volume, because of the way you use it. When you choose an anchor task, like a weekly podcast, blog, or video, that one action becomes the source of a whole week of content for you. Let's take a podcast episode like this one as an example. From one anchor task, say a 10, 15, or even a 20-minute episode, you can create a blog post or written recap of the episode, 2 to 4 social media posts pulling out key points or quotes, 1 email to your list sharing the core lesson, a couple of short clips or graphics for Reels or YouTube Shorts. So you're not waking up needing 5 separate ideas all of the time, you're deepening one idea in 5 ways. That means your audience sees you show up regularly online, you become more visible, even though you only created from scratch once. Your content feels connected and not scattered, and you protect your energy ceiling because you're not constantly starting from zero. This is why anchor tasks are so powerful for visibility. They create what I call a content cascade. One piece flows into many. So it's not about being everywhere, it's about having one steady signal that you can amplify calmly over time. Okay, so let's keep moving with part 4. And here I'd like to talk about something that trips a lot of people up. You can have very clear goals and still find your focus falling apart. If that's happening, it's rarely because your mindset is wrong. It's usually because the structure you're trying to operate in doesn't fit how your brain actually works. If your days are full of context switching and multitasking vague tasks like work on content, there's no real rhythm in place. Your nervous system is constantly in fight or flight mode. And that, my friend, is the chaos cloud again. So the reframe I want you to hold on to is this. You don't have a focus problem, you have a system that was built for someone else's brain. But anchor tasks help because they give your mind one lighthouse to move forward, even when the rest of life feels noisy. From there, you can lay a little bit of batching around it. For example, Monday, record or write your anchor task. Tuesday, pull 3 social media posts from it. Wednesday, write the email based on it. 3 small blocks, all orbiting the same idea, less switching for you and more momentum. So here we are, we've landed safely at part 5 of the big breakdown, where I'm going to explore structure without feeling trapped. A lot of highly attuned entrepreneurs have a complicated relationship with structure, and for good reason too, because structure has often been used like a cage. Rigid schedules, productivity systems that punish rest, perfect week plans that fall apart from day 2. Sound familiar? They do to me as well. But anchor tasks are different. They give you one fixed point and a lot of freedom around it. They're the minimum, not the maximum. And once your anchor task is done, you are allowed to stop. You are allowed to rest. Or if you've got the energy, you can build on it. Either way, you're not failing. You've met the one commitment that keeps your business alive and visible. And that's how you build structure that feels like support, not punishment. And then think about it, when you repeat that over 8, 12, 16 weeks, you quietly build a body of work, a brand presence, and a level of consistency that no hustle tactic can compete with. So with that, let's move on to the next section of the show, Buzzword Bingo. Welcome then to the Buzzword Bingo hole, and today's word is one that you hear all the time in marketing circles, repurposing. It sounds a bit dry, but also intriguing, and it's actually where the anchor task really comes alive. Repurposing simply means taking one core piece of content and adapting it into different formats for different platforms without reinventing the wheel. So think of your content like a set of Russian dolls. The biggest doll is your anchor task, your long form piece of content, so your podcast episode or a long form blog post. Inside that, you've got smaller dolls, a carousel for Instagram, a short post for Facebook, an email to your list, a video clip. They're all the same person, just in different sizes. From a fuzzled perspective, repurposing serves 3 really important purposes. First, it protects your energy ceiling. You're not asking your brain to come up with brand new ideas every time you sit down. You start from something that you've already deeply thought about. Second, it keeps your content consistent by theme. You're not talking about 15 different topics in 1 week. You're circling one idea from different angles, which builds your topical authority, which we'll come to in another episode of Buzzword Bingo. Thirdly, it's just smart content marketing. Most people don't see everything that you put out online, so repeating the same core message in slightly different ways is not boring, it's super clear. And on a final note about repurposing, it isn't a lazy shortcut. It's a smart, strategic way of saying, I honour my energy and I honour my audience by making my message consistent and easy to absorb. So if you recognise yourself in this, if you're tired of trying to be consistent in a way that your nervous system simply can't sustain, here's your next step. Choose one anchor task. Just one. Make it realistic, make it repeatable, let everything else orbit around it. And if you'd like help knowing what to actually say in that content so you're not staring at a blinking cursor every week, I've got something to support you from my fuzzled cupboard of digital guides. It's called Let's Get Visible. It's a guide with 90 proven content prompts to help you know what to post and to build a content rhythm that doesn't zap your energy. It gives you predictability, and predictability for a highly attuned nervous system means safety and calm. You can find the link in the show notes. Thanks for listening to Fuzzled all the way to the end. Do rate and subscribe to the podcast. It really helps growing content creators like me. And remember, you don't have to do everything. You just need to do the right thing often enough in a way that fits the way that your brain actually works. I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to Fuzzled, where structure beats hustle every time. If today brought you clarity, you'll love my weekly Friday feeling emails. Calm, honest reflections with practical steps to help you grow without the overwhelm. Join the Marketing Clarity Club at paulculshaw.com, and I'll see you in your inbox. Take care and keep choosing calm over chaos.